Paving the way to the UAE Economic Vision 2030, this session of today's Mلتقى will introduce trade and investment opportunities in the UAE as well as opportunities outside the country. It is a chance to connect UAE companies and foreign companies and affirm pre-existing relations. His Excellency Mohammed Sharaf, Assistant Minister for Economic and Trade Affairs, will now mark the opening of today's economic session. Your Excellency, the floor.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Thank you for your attendance. I can see a full house here, which makes me very exciting. The United Arab Emirates, in line with its National Agenda 2021, is aiming to make the country a major player at the international level by transitioning it into a fully knowledge-based economy, promoting innovation, research and development, strengthening the regulatory framework for key sectors, and encouraging high-value added sectors. This will improve the country's business environment and increase its attractiveness to foreign investment. Stemming out of that agenda, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Strategy 2017-2021 vision is to ensure collaboration and coexistence in pursuit of stability and prosperity in the region and in the world. To achieve that, we continually work with our partners through expanding the existing economic sectors and creating new ones. Your Excellencies, in light of the above, it is our job to affirm existing as well as develop new commercial relationships between the UAE and foreign companies through their respective embassies. Over the past years, and with the engagement of the UAE embassies abroad, we have actively targeted 48 countries to increase bilateral economic ties and investment with a total investment value exceeding US $2.3 billion. Such events, along with others, will further strengthen our efforts and ensure the continuation of our bilateral relations by serving as a platform to connect business community with our foreign ambassadors. This marks the first business breakfast, and I'm assured that we will be having many more successful ones in the coming future. Finally, as I said, this is the first in the series of the monthly breakfast sessions that we're going to have, and I and my department and MOFAC in total will be engaged with you wherever we can support you and seek your support as well to attract FDI into the UAE. And my colleague, His Excellency Abdullah Saleh, is going to be speaking about the sectors that we are targeting and anything else that you need from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It is indeed essential to understand the business climate in the UAE and the country's journey to a non-oil economy. From the Ministry of Economy, His Excellency Abdullah Al Saleh, Under-Secretary of Foreign Trade and Industry, has joined us to give an overview of the United Arab Emirates economy. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, Excellencies. It's nice to see our friends from different missions and together here. I'm not saying that I'm going to introduce the UAE economy to you. You have been here for a long time, most of you, and you know about UAE economy maybe better than. I would like to elaborate on some of features of UAE economy and the latest performance of the economy, and maybe it will be the chance to exchange views with you. The most important here to exchange the views and to have the experience of more than 70 or 80 countries gathered here. I'm sure that we can develop our policies, regulations, the practice to perform better in our economy by having your feedback I'm sure that you are in contact with your business community who are operating here, companies who are operating here in the country, and you hear the feedback from them about the economy, about the performance of the economy, regulations, enforcement of the law, trade, investment on bilateral level. So I think this is a good chance for us to hear from you also. So for the UAE economy, the UAE policy based on the open economy, and the most important guidance for our work and our policies at the Ministry of Economy and for the government of UAE, the Vision 2021 for the UAE. If you look on the vision of UAE, you heard about the vision repeatedly, but I would like to mention about two main topics that were included in the Vision 2021. Innovation and knowledge economy, which is part of that. And the second is sustainability. So the main two topics in UAE Vision 2021 to drive the UAE economy to the future and driven by knowledge economy and innovation. And why is that? Because a lot of changes are happening in the world related to the performance of the economy, the practice of the business, and we would like to be in line with these changes and to face the future challenges, and facing the future challenges with the innovation. And the future will not be small economy or large economy, but it will be innovative economy or non-innovative economy. And the vision of UAE government has 7 main pillars. But the most important for this gathering is the knowledge economy and unified in knowledge. And these pillars are the priority for the UAE government and the performance to reach 2021. And if you look on the UAE economy, you will see that if we want to reach high standard of the performance of the economy, we want to have a special features in our economy and to launch a new strategies that can give the strength to the economy and to transfer the economy for the future and to deal with the future challenges. There are 4 main policies that the government announced in the past 3 years. The first one, diversification policy. And the diversification policy, it's not something not new for our vision or the performance of the economy, but for 20 years that the government is working to diversify our economy, and we shifted our economy. 20 years ago, it was depending on oil, and 70% of our GDP 25 years ago, it was depending on oil and gas. But with the diversification policy, we successfully reached 30% of our GDP depending on oil and gas, and the rest shared by different sectors, manufacture and services. I'll come to describe this GDP, which is distributed by different sectors, but before that, I mentioned diversification policy. The new thing about the diversification policy, that the UAE would like to reach 0% participation of oil and gas in our GDP in 2050. So it's difficult to say that. And I'm not saying that to reach 0% contribution of oil and gas in our GDP, that the oil and gas will not exist in 2050, but you don't know about the future and the development in innovation. So the value of oil and gas exists today, but not necessarily oil and gas will have the same value within 20 years or 30 years. So we have to prepare ourselves and we have to prepare our generation for the future. And to maximize the benefit of oil and gas in the chain of production and other economic activities within the circle of our economy instead of just selling the crude oil. This is the percentage distributed by sectors to our GDP. As you see that the mining, 31, then wholesale and retail sector coming in the second category, then construction, manufacturing. Manufacture, the contribution of manufacture 8.5 last year, and our aim to increase this percentage to reach 16% within the next 4 years. It's very hard, but a lot of initiatives, especially in oil and gas, the expansion of different manufacturers and different projects just to enhance the production or the performance of manufacture sector. If we come to the foreign trade, since the establishment of UAE, we had an increase of foreign trade figures around, with average 20-25% annually until 2008, when all countries faced the financial crisis. And one of the impact of the financial crisis on our economy, because we are connected with the rest of the world, our foreign trade was declined in 2008. But in 2009, the impact of the crisis was in our economy in 2009. But since 2010, we have witnessed a recovery of our foreign trade figures. And as you see here, there was an increase, growth of foreign trade, but it's not compared to the growth in 90s or 80s. And I'll give you some of some reasons behind that. As you see here, in 2013, we had an increase, in 2011, we had an increase 17%. 2012, it was 15%. 2013, 5%. 2004, it was 2%, then 3%, then 1%. So what are the elements that are affecting the foreign trade? There are two main elements. One, the performance of the global economy. And as you see now, that with the more regional free trade agreements and regional cooperation, you see more interaction of economies and the trade between certain regions. This is one reason behind that. The second reason, the performance of growth of international trade. It's declining, especially after 2008, or let's say that the percentage of growth of international trade after the 2008 crisis is not, or it's not comparable to the performance of foreign trade before 2008. So the annual growth of the international trade, the average is 3%. So if I compare the performance of UAE economy with the international trade, so it is above the percentage of global growth. And our estimation for 2017 to be around 1 or 2% growth. 45% of our non-oil trade, foreign trade, is related to gold, diamond, and precious stones. So the decline of the prices in these commodities will affect the figure of foreign trade. And similarly, you can see the impact of the prices, the commodities in the international market on the foreign trade. But the good thing about our foreign trade from 2010 till now, the growth of our export is more than the growth of the total foreign trade. So the capability of exporting and production to other countries in a positive growth, and it's more than the average growth of the total trade. And this is the figure, the first half, because 2017 is still, the figures is not published. So I have figures, comparison figures, the first half, 2015, 2016, 17, and what we see here, that in 2016, the first half was increasing 9%, but in 2017, there is an increase 1% from the number of 2016. And sometimes if we have, for example, in aviation sector, if we purchase aircrafts in 1 year, that has a big impact on our foreign trade. For example, the delivery of aircrafts for Etihad or Emirates Airlines, that affect also the foreign figures. I would like to give you a brief about our the competitive knowledge economy and what we are doing right now to increase the performance of our economy and to be more based on the knowledge economy and technology. We took a global innovation index. which is the major index globally today that measure the performance of each country related to innovation and knowledge. And our ranking for that index was 47 globally in 2015. So we took that index, and the index has 83 sub-indicators that compare UAE with the rest of the countries, and around 70 countries, they are included in this index. So we evaluated ourselves where we were on the 83 or 82 indicators, like how much we spend on R&D, what is the value of foreign trade based on the technology items, export and import, how many teachers for the students, how many classrooms we have, what's the budget for education, and certain things related to technology. And we try to upgrade our ranking in these indicators and to fix the weaknesses and where the indicators we see ourselves that in lower level, trying to upgrade the performance and to enhance the performance in different sectors with different entities and ministries. So we established a national committee with the federal and local governments to upgrade the performance of UAE in these indicators. And we jumped within 2 years from 47 to 35. And we are trying hardly to reach one of the top 10 countries in Global Innovation Index by 2021. This is one of the initiatives that we are working to transfer our economy on knowledge-based economy. And we announced the innovation strategy, the national innovation strategy, and we gave a priority for 6 or 7 sectors as a priority sectors in our strategy. And these sectors are renewable energy, transport, education, healthcare, technology, water, and space. And why we identify these 7 sectors? Simply because some of the sectors, we have challenges in these sectors, and other sectors, we have competitiveness in these sectors or advantage in these sectors, like transportation, and we would like to maximize the benefit of this advantage with innovation and trying to attract foreign direct investment and investments from the local market on these sectors. There are several initiatives from the government related to innovation. One of the major initiatives to spread the culture of innovation in the private and public sector. And it was a clear message from Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid that we cannot have innovation in the private sector without having innovative government. So he emphasized that the performance of the government should be innovative, and there is a chief of innovation for each ministry, and there is one of the measurement for each entity and each ministry for their Excellence Award, there are several measurements related to innovation in the government. And one of the example, how many patent, how many innovation that the employees of each ministry have. So, and many other indicators related to innovation in the public sector. Another initiative related to innovation is establishing a fund for innovation for around 2 billion dirhams. And UAE now is ready to look on opportunities for innovation, especially in these sectors, but not necessarily that all the investment come under these sectors, but we open the door for other sectors too. Another initiative related to innovation that each ministry should allocate 2% of its budget for R&D. And there are many other initiatives. Next month, you will see that the first time that we have a month of innovation in UAE, and it will be annually. We started this initiative as weekly, every year, week of innovation, but this year we will have a month of innovation. And the concept behind this, just to spread the culture of innovation and the importance of innovation in the society. I will pass some of the slides. This is related to the features of UAE environment, business environment, related to the stability, the tolerance that we have, and the quality of life. So if many countries, they promote themselves as a destination for investment and business, but the environment for attracting business in UAE, when we promote this environment, we don't focus on a specific thing, or that we have a good infrastructure system, or we have a good airports, or we have good regulations and policies to attract investments. We provide a comprehensive solution for attracting business, and to create this environment is not easy. So the investor is looking to have a safe environment, politically and economically stable environment. There is no restriction to import or transfer the profit or capitals. Fair and transparent juridical system. You have good laws, regulations that regulate the business, the practice of the government. You have good infrastructure, telecommunication system, location, opportunities for investment, the percentage of growth of your business, of the economy, the facilitation of labor market, easy to bring the laborers from different countries. There is no restriction for any nationality or any category of labor market. So all these features and the location, all these features are good for establishing a business. And there is one feature that the UAE has also, that we are surrounding by countries where there is no stability politically. So these capitals, companies, they are searching for a market that is secured. They can put their wealth, they can put their investment, and it's secured for them, it's not far from them, and they will be able to do business in this environment. And this is what we offer to them, and that's why we attract a lot of investments from the region. I'll skip the aviation sector and the importance of the aviation sector in our economy, but the estimation of the performance of aviation sector itself, that it will contribute $53 billion to our GDP and will create up to 750 jobs by 2020. The feature of the free zones, now we have around 40 free zones. They are operating around UAE. I'm not sure if you consider it as a positive or negative, but we take it as a positive for UAE economy and alternative for foreign investors to do business. Some of the companies, some of the investors, they would like to have a freedom of owning 100% on their investments. They are looking for good logistic services. So we provide these alternatives for the investors, and it is very successful. And the contribution now of free zones to our GDP for Dubai itself, 30% of Dubai GDP is from free zones. And the foreign trade of UAE, 30% of the total foreign trade of UAE also through free zones. For the foreign direct investment, this is the main topic, I think, for this gathering, is to discuss the foreign direct investments, either inward or outward. If you look on the reports coming from organizations, regional or international organizations that measures the FDI, you will see that UAE ranked #1 in the region for the Arab world, and for the global ranking, I'll come to this number later. As for the MENA region, UAE ranked #1, and globally UAE ranked 23rd for attracting foreign direct investment. The major sectors that are UAE investing overseas. As I mentioned, UAE is not only attracting investment, but also for the outward of the investment, UAE ranked #1 in the MENA region. And why we are investing overseas, and at the same time, UAE would like to attract investment in the country, since there is opportunities, and we are traveling around with the trade shows, participation in events, attracting companies to invest in UAE. At the same time, we are investing overseas. So when we talk to other investors to come and establish a business in UAE, we are not looking as a priority to attract capitals, but the most important for UAE to transfer the technology, know-how, and to connect our market with the international markets, and to increase the level of the competitiveness of our economy by having know-how and foreign experience with the local companies. With the time, that will increase and enhance the performance of our economy and our national companies. Also, some of the sectors that our local investors, they don't have the experience and knowledge to invest in these sectors. Here where we need the international companies, experts, the foreign knowledge to come and to invest in UAE in these sectors. And also FDI, it's good also for the sustainable of the growth of the economy. And why we are going to invest overseas? There are several reasons for that. There is a liquidity in the market. There is revenue from oil and gas. And we are searching for opportunities in the international market, not only for profitability. Profitability, yes, this is one of the criteria for the investors when they look for opportunities in the international market. But we are not going to invest in a sector that are not added value for us or the country or the host country. And we are not going to invest in opportunities as a hot investment. To enter in a market and to play in that market and run away after getting the profit of these investments. This is not the features of UAE investments overseas. So our main sectors in investing overseas: aviation, air transport services, transportation, mining, logistics, ports, and infrastructure. Renewable energy, real estate, construction, telecommunications and information technology, oil and gas, energy and renewable energy, tourism, hotels, and aviation, banking, and agriculture sector. In 2006, the UAE alone contributed to 53% of all Arab outward direct investment to the world. And UAE foreign direct investment outflow have grown 78% over the past years to reach 15% last year compared to the year before, and as cumulative outward FDI, we ranked 34 globally and first in the MENA region, and UAE accounted for nearly third of the accumulated stock of Arab outflow investments. And it was increase in 2016 compared to 2015, 16% growth in our outward of investment. and it was increased from 95 billion US dollars in 2015 to 113 billion US dollars in 2016. And the similar figures and the growth will be for 2017. These are some examples of companies who are investing overseas: DP World, Emirates Airlines, Etihad, Abraj Group, Etisalat, Mubadala, IPEC, Dubai Investments, Masdar, Dar, Damak, Dana Gas, Eagle Hills, Gulf Pharmaceutical Industry, Borouge, Emirates Global Aluminium, Rak Ceramic, Danata, Al-Habtour Group, Al-Futem Group, Jumeirah Group, and many other companies. As I mentioned to you, that the profit is not of the sole objective of UAE investments abroad, but the social, human development dimensions is one of the major aim for UAE investing overseas. And we don't interfere politically in the hosted country. When we go and invest in any country, we don't interfere in any political issues. And we generate a stable return over the long term within established risk parameters, and contributing to for the development of the hosted country. And we align our investment with the strategy of the hosted country. And we improve the skills of the labor force of that country. We contribute in a social responsibility activities. And also we reinvest in the same countries from the profitability of the projects. So it's long-term investment and not short-term investments. And these are some of the examples for our investments globally by different companies. For example, DP World investing in more than 40 countries with 77 projects and supported by more than 50 related activities and services with their investments. Etisalat Group, they're one of the largest investors also, especially in emerging markets. Mubadala is an active in 13 major sectors and investing in more than 30 countries, and their portfolio valued around 126 billion US dollars last year. Jumeirah Hotel and Jumeirah Group, they are investing in hospitality around the world. Also, Borouge is one of the largest petrochemicals producer in UAE. Now they are producing about 4.5 million tons, and their plan to produce 11 million tons within 5 years. They have several investments, especially in Asian countries, and in R&D to develop also with their clients a new product that meets their requirements in the industry. For sovereign wealth funds, this is as there is 5 major funds for UAE as characterized by the terms and the definition of the sovereign wealth funds. And these funds, it's ADIA, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, Abu Dhabi Investment Council, Mubadala Investment, Dubai Government Investment Corporation, Emirates Investment Authority, Ras Al Khaimah Investment Authority. And the contribution of the sovereign wealth funds, if I compare it with the total UAE investment overseas, their contribution around 70 to 75% of the total UAE investment overseas. Abu Dhabi Investment Fund, considered the third largest sovereign wealth fund in the world, and with total assets of 828 billion US dollars. This is their distribution of their investments globally, that 35 to 50% in Northern America, 20 to 35% in Europe, 10 to 20% in Asian countries, 15 to 25 in emerging markets. The other category of our foreign or our investments in foreign markets is semi-government investments, and that account for 20 to 25% of the total UAE investments. And the rest is the private companies and families who are investing overseas. But they have very successful investment projects, especially in hospitality and real estate development. What we are doing to attract investments to UAE. I'm not going to elaborate on all these tools, but I would like to mention one of the major things that maybe you are, or three major activities that you may be interested to know about it. One is a free trade agreement. One of the tools that UAE is using to open new markets for our investments and to attract investments to UAE and to increase trade with our strategic partners, trade partners, to have free trade agreements. But within the custom union law, that we cannot individually as a UAE signing a free trade agreement bilaterally with other countries. So we have to sign these agreements on the GCC level. And we are in negotiation with several groups and countries for having free trade agreements. So if we conclude all these agreements, which are in a process, we may liberalize our foreign trade with 80% of our trade with other countries. However, now with the situation, as you know, in the GCC, within the GCC and the crisis with Qatar, we don't see any progress in this direction. So hopefully in the future we can find a way to deal with this topic. Another tool that we are signing, avoiding double taxation, and the other agreement, which is protection and investment protection and promotion agreements, which are handled by Ministry of Finance. And we sign around 75 of these agreements so far. I would like to stop to this point, and maybe if there is anything we would like to hear from you or to share any information you would like to know, I'll be happy to answer any question. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Your Excellencies, esteemed guests and partners. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation wishes you all much success in your endeavors. See you all at our next Multaqā. Thank you for your presence here with us today.